Okay, so we're going to be going over how to create characters in Roblox and have them move. Okay, so let's say I wanted to create just a four-legged creature. Okay, so I'm just going to create a body. It's going to be the body. Okay, and then I'm going to right-click, duplicate, scale this, and make the first a leg. And I'm just going to duplicate it again. And duplicate it again. Actually, let me use I'm gonna use one stud measurement just so it's not so smooth. Alright, and then let me give this a head. Alright, so now I want to combine all these parts into a character. Okay,
We'd make it into a model then, right?
exactly. So let me actually show what the model character in Roblox is. This is a character, right? All these are parts. Okay, the difference between mine right now and this guy is one, this dummy, all the parts of the dummy have been grouped into a model. So let me do that, like you said. So right click group. Okay, I'm gonna call this animal. And so now the dummy's parts are actually named something. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. And differentiate the names. So I'm gonna call this head. I'm gonna call this back left leg. Oh. Front left leg. And call this body. Actually, I'm actually going to call this humanoid root part. Okay, and I'm going to explain why. Humanoid root part. Okay. And then front right leg. And then back right leg. Okay, so obviously some of the namings don't match up with Roblox's character. Okay, but one thing that every character has to have is a humanoid root part. Okay, because this is how Roblox is. So the last thing I'm missing, or I'm missing a few other things, but a really important thing I'm missing is a humanoid. So the humanoid is what allows Roblox's to figure out that you're trying to create a character with health, with movement. So if we look at the humanoid here, I see some properties. We get health, max health, walk speed, jump power. Okay, so Roblox coded a lot of like functionality for a character here, but we need to have a humanoid, and we need to have a humanoid root part. Okay, because when we code this to move, the movement is going to be based off of the humanoid root part. Okay, and another thing that's very important is, so I'm gonna add a decal.
Decal basically is like tells which is like the front of the.
Yes, exactly. So I'm just gonna get an image here, copy the asset, and paste it into here. Okay, so now I know. Yeah. So now I know what's the front face. So now when I code this to move forward, I know for sure it's gonna go in this direction. So now, so let me delete this. Okay. Also, by default, when you add a part, it always faces in the negative z direction, so negative z is the
Yeah.
front. Yeah. So now, um, the next thing I'm missing is, oh, I need to make the primary part. So if I look at the model, or look at this dummy, there's a property called primary part, and it's the humanoid root part. So we're gonna need to make sure that this is the case for the animal too. So humanoid root part. And next, um, if I look at this dummy, some of these parts have children here, okay, and these children are joints, okay. So these joints are what attach the arms to the torso and stuff like that. They're not anchored, okay. If the parts are anchored,
They'll
then
just
the
stay in
character won't
place. Yeah,
exactly
they
won't
won't.
be able to move at all. So we need to join them by joints, and so there's a plugin we can get. So I'm gonna go to the toolbox, go to plugins, and search for a plugin. Oh no, search for a plugin called Edit Rig. Okay, and I got Rig Edit Lite. Okay, I
Mhm.
actually have the premium version, but you don't even need it. All right, so if I click this, all right, I see that there's a joint here. So every orange sphere is a joint. Okay,
Mhm.
and every brown thing is like represents the center of the part that is connected. So every joint connects two parts. So like this joint connects this part and the torso here. Okay,
Mhm.
so I need to create a joint between each of my legs and the humanoid root part, and or actually, okay. So one thing that we see Roblox does is that so Roblox made a joint between the arms and the torso. Um, so Roblox has a torso, but the torso's separate from the humanoid root part. They're in the same place.
So
Okay.
wait, why did they call it? Is there a reason why you named it humanoid root part specifically?
Well, that's just how they programmed the humanoid to work with movement.
Oh, okay. So you need to have a part that says humanoid root part,
If you want to
right?
use Roblox's humanoid for movement, yes.
All right. Okay. Okay.
It's gonna make it a lot easier to program. It's gonna be so simple to program movement.
Mhm.
Um, but the reason they made a torso separate, instead of just having the humanoid root part act as the torso, is because, um, let's say we wanted to animate this animal, and I'm gonna cover animating models at a different point in time with you.
Mhm.
Um, but if we wanted to animate our models, we need how animation is done in video games is the parts that you see animating are not are not like the movement center. Okay, so like you might have seen you might have seen like if you played a game and you have like an animation on a character,
Mhm.
you might like still be able to move and the animation will like still play even though like it looks like you're skating around on your animation. So it's
Yeah.
because your animation is not tied to the part that's moving is not being animated at all. So the humanoid root part does not get animated at all, but uh um the torso and everything all the other parts do. So we need to create a torso for our animal. So I'm just gonna duplicate the humanoid root part. Call this torso. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and start welding. So let me go to plugins, re-edit. Okay, and I'm gonna uh, so I always click on part 0 of the weld first, and then in the next thing. So I'm gonna weld the torso first to the back left leg. So it even shows me what's 0 and what's 1. So the torso is 0, and I'm gonna click create joints. Okay, and I'm just gonna keep going. I actually showed Luis how to do this one time. Luis was my student before he left. And then when he came back, so when you do this again, when you do this again with him, it might be familiar
Mm-hmm.
to him.
Oh yeah, he was making like a giraffe or something.
Yeah, yeah. Or it was like it looks like a bug dude with a face. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Torso and then front left leg. Torso, front right leg. Torso, back right leg. And then torso to head. Okay. And I think so Roblox creates a weld from the humanoid root parts to the torso.
Or, oh yeah,
Yes.
there's like a circle in the middle.
Yeah, a circle in the middle, exactly. Exactly. So let's also do that as well. So I'm going to click on this, create one from the torso to the, no, humanoid root part to the torso. No, this is the wrong dummy. Humanoid root part to the torso. Create joints. Alright. And then, if we look at the dummy here, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or wait, let me, plugin's gonna glitch out. Look at the dummy here. Um, the the sorry, my brain's lagging.
It's all good.
Okay, so the orange part, right? So this is basically like um where the parts can rotate about. This is where the parts are where the joints like um pivot. It's the pivot of the two joints. Okay. Just like the pivot of our arm in real life and our chest is the socket. We need to move our pivot to where it just makes sense physically. So like the connection between the torso and the head is in the middle here because the neck can rotate around this part. So now, so right now this, you see this orange? This is not in an accurate part. The joint between my head and the torso should be lower, like right here at this intersection. So I'm gonna click it. Can I click it? Yes. And I can move it down. The snap is one stud, so it's not like discrete
Mm-hmm.
enough, so I'm just gonna make it 0.5, and then I think it's good. And I'm gonna do the same for the rest. I'm gonna put them in the place that makes sense for this. This part actually doesn't really matter until you start getting into animating, but
Yeah.
you should do it anyway, um, just so that when you do, eh, actually it's actually you don't need to cover it with Luis, since I think you should just focus on making a bunch of animals and
Mm-hmm.
having them move around. Like you can learn how to
Wait, what do
program
you?
random.
Okay, wait, but don't they actually like when you say animation? What do you mean by that? Because like
Like
aren't these like going to be animated when they're like walking?
mm mm Roblox creates default animations um for anything that is the shape of like their default character. But if you create your own character, you need to create your own animations.
Okay, I see.
But you don't
So
need you,
so what are these like? So when I make these animals and stuff like that, are they just gonna like stand there or something?
so I'm gonna show you how to get them moving, but it's just gonna move like it's gonna stay
Oh,
the
staying
joints aren't gonna
still.
move. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I see,
It's
I
gonna
see.
move to where it needs to go, but there's not gonna be any animation associated with the movement.
I see.
But
Okay,
I think you should focus on
that for now. Yeah. Hmm.
like
Yep.
making random movement. So like teaching him how to maybe create like a wander, like just a program that just makes the animal choose a random position around it and then move to that position, like on a loop or
Hmm.
something.
All
I think
right.
that'd be cool. And then okay, and then creating different animals with different colors and stuff like that. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
now I'm done with this. So now this is rigged. So now, okay, I'm gonna add a script in here that's gonna make it move forward on a loop every 2 seconds. So I'm gonna add a script in here, and I'm gonna say animal script dot parent, or yeah, and then
So this is
humanoid.
kind of a dumb question, but whenever you type like a variable, but you don't like include like local in front of it, does it like naturally just default to a local variable or not?
Well, if I don't put local, then it assumes you're trying to make it global. So, for
Global,
example, if I
okay.
had a function here, scope, okay, and I just put um, part equals game or baseplate. Okay, this is global. Okay, it's basically as if I typed it here. I see this red line uh, because it's warning me. It's just warning me that this is global when it looks like I'm trying to make it local. So it says
I see.
consider. So yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
All right, so that was a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Humanoid is equal to animal dot humanoid, and then action move forward. Okay, so humanoid colon move to.
Are you gonna be using C frame again?
Actually, I think actually the first thing you should do with Louise is just have uh, move it to like a position of where a part is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so like maybe I'm okay. I'm gonna program this to move to this part, and then this part.
Sounds good.
So um, we could use. So yeah, I would use C frames, or yeah, I would use C frames, but you also don't need to, actually. Like he could have like a preset like wander path for like an animal to follow just by using these parts as basically nodes, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can use the positions of these parts to move them.
All
And
right. Okay.
so uh, move to positions. So move to um, part one is game dot workspace dot part one part two. All right, and then we say move to part one dot position. Okay, wait 3 seconds. Humanoid colon move to. So yeah, this is the magic function that
Move to.
Roblox made for us. Move to. It
And by
just
the way,
takes.
move to, does it like so is it just like does it matter like what direction the like animal is facing? Like for instance, if it's moving to part one, will it just like slide to part one or will it turn to part
Yeah, it
one
will
and then
turn to based on the where the what the look vector of the humanoid root part is exactly.
I see.
That's why
Okay.
we need to make sure that the humanoid root part is facing forward. So
All
yeah,
right, okay.
Roblox does handle the rotation. Where there's a humanoid property called auto rotate, and yeah, so we'll keep that on. Oh wait, we also need to make sure that we don't require neck. If we
What
do
is that?
require, so require neck means that if the humanoid does not detect a neck joint, so in this dummy we have a neck joint
Mm-hmm.
right here. So this is the joint between the torso and the head. It's it's this one right here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
mine mine is this one, but
Yeah.
I did not explicitly name it neck. I just when you use the plugin, it automatically names them. So I'm just gonna name this one. This is from the torso to the head. I'm gonna rename this neck. Okay. But just in case you forget about that, you can also just disable requires neck.
Okay.
So that's cool. So now, but this if you make it requires neck, it'll make it so that let's say we explode this animal, then the animal will die if its neck gets clipped here, and so that you could use that for like a respawning system if you wanted to like be able to kill animals for meat or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, neck. Okay, move to part two dot position. Weights 3. Humanoid. One move to part dot position. All right.
Wait, yeah, we need another weight,
Oh
don't we?
yes, yes, you're correct. I always forget it.
It's all good.
Say while true do. Move to positions. All right. So now if I just test and play. Okay, he moves to that one. Moves
Oh,
to this
oh, that's
one.
cool.
Moves to that one.
I see.
All right. So
So
now.
theoretically, if you were to move, you see how he's moving the parts, right?
Yeah, I
Oh,
should anchor. I
okay.
should.
Wow. So,
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah. It'll go to the further, but I need to anchor
it'll
them.
naturally adjust. Okay, okay. That's cool. That's cool. I think it was better that you didn't anchor it, because then it just shows that it moved like to the actual part itself.
Yeah, because each time this function is
Yeah.
executed, it.
It goes to
I didn't. I
position.
didn't. Yeah. I didn't like. I could have like hard coded the position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then if I moved, then it would not adjust. So now, but now it's looking at it. It's updating whatever its position is at the point in time.
And this still works even if the part is transparent, right?
Exactly. So I'm gonna make
Mm.
it transparent and anchored, and so the player will have no idea that we are just moving the character to nodes.
That is
Um,
really cool. Okay.
Look at that. Look how few lines of code that was. It was
Basically.
longer. It just takes longer to actually make the animal. All right. I can even ride this thing.
And you can even write it. That's pretty cool.
Okay, so yeah, that's it. And so you can make four-legged creatures, two-legged creatures, any legged creatures. You can add any amount of parts you want to this thing. Doesn't matter. You could even learn how to do pathfinding if you really wanted to.
Okay.
But I think it'd be good for Luis to make like 3 animals
Mm-hmm.
and have them have their own wander path.
All right.
I think that'd be
Oh yeah.
good.
Before you get off, so can you show me, or can you like stop? This is kind of unrelated, but so can you
Hmm.
go back to home? So you know
Wait,
how
is
you
this
can like,
this is unrelated to uh
or I mean, it's kind of related. I was
okay.
gonna like ask how to like make like a fish per se, like how to like just make one,
Oh,
because
make a
it's like
fish. Hmm.
yeah, because like fish is it's probably gonna be like a sphere. So I was just wondering, so can you go to home? Like if you were to have like a sphere, right?
Hmm.
So when you try scaling a sphere, sometimes like it goes like based off of like it's based off of like the ratio. So how would you make it like so that let's just say you just wanted to like look very stretched out? How would you do that?
Oh yes, yeah. You can't squish. Yeah, the radius has to be the same. You could
Hmm.
search up uh, a oval mesh. So meshes can be
I see. Okay. Okay.
squished and stretched. Yep.
All right.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, okay. Yeah. That's probably gonna help design some animals later on. But all right. Yeah. But that's basically it. All right.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thanks for meeting up with me.